After listening to our presentation, you should be able to briefly describe meditation and visualization, as well as list and explain examples of both. You should also be able to explain the topics that are applied in each and how they pertain to sports. And then in conclusion, what sports psychologists say and what they can do to help. Here we explain the definition of meditation. Psychology Today states that meditation is the practice of turning your attention to a single point of reference. It can involve focusing on your breath, on bodily sensations, or on a word or phrase known as mantra. Meditation is essentially a way of life marked by 4 stages of preparation, attention, active reception, and higher consciousness. In Meditation to Fit the Person, they explain how these 4 stages should be the underlying goal of completion for every athlete in order to improve performance and skill. Although there are many types of meditation, we gave an overview of 2 categories: focused attention meditation and open monitoring meditation. The first, focused attention, requires the voluntary focusing on attention of one specific thing or object. And then open monitoring meditation is the open monitoring of the content of experience from moment to moment. So basically, that just means being consciously aware of everything that's going on around you at all times and being able to see everything, but without responding to it rashly or aggressively. Focused attention meditation in more depth. We list 3 types of ways that this can be accomplished. The first being transcendental meditation or mantra. This is a 20-minute cycle of continuous intervals of 5-second slow breathing while repeating the mantra So it's focused in on a sound. There's no specific time period between the end of one mantra and when the start of the other mantra should occur. It's just person dependent. The second is Zazen meditation. This is performed sitting in a chair with erect posture with your hands in your lap, forming the cosmic mudra. This is a grasp using the thumb of the non-dominant hand with the fingers of the non-dominant hand, and then wrapping the fingers of the dominant hand around the outside of the non-dominant hand. There's no established or forced breathing pattern with these techniques. However, you should focus on your lower abdomen while breathing, with the goal of bringing your head to your navel each time you're exhaling. The third example is ratio breathing. It's a regulating technique with an in-breath that should last the amount of 3 heartbeats and an out-breath for 7 beats. The goal is 6 breaths per minute, and your attention should focus on the flow of their breath and the rhythm of their heart, and then those 2 should match and parallel each other. The idea is that these 3 promote feelings of balance, control, and higher consciousness, which is our main focus. Focused attention meditation in sports are often portrayed as closed sports, which basically means that the sport does not have a lot of competition that involves reaction time. It's not time pressured. It's more one-on-one, either with yourself or with an object or a target. So some of these examples are gymnastics, golf, archery, martial arts, target shooting, specific events of track and field like shot put, discus, or single events, and swimming. The second example of meditation is called open monitoring meditation. It assesses the efficiency of allocating attention over time. This can also be described as the act of engaging in meditation beforehand allows one to control their attention over an extended period of time. So for example, when playing soccer, the goalie is always aware of who has the ball, how many opposing players are near him, the direction of the wind, his posture, the condition of the ground, whether it's grass, turf, dry, or muddy. And without open monitoring meditation, the goalie would not be able to maintain a cognitive controlled state and would lose focus very easily, causing him to not get the ball. In contrast to focused attention meditation, open monitoring meditation is time pressured and does need reaction time. So some examples of this would be soccer, basketball, football, baseball, rugby, lacrosse, and many more. These are all sports that require each athlete to be consciously aware of everything that's going on at every single moment, or they're either going to fail a play, turn over the ball, or miss a shot. Here we described how focused attention meditation and open monitoring meditation are in fact the same but different. They are both forms of meditation, but focus has a specific object, sound, or person in mind, whereas open monitoring meditation is a continuously ongoing focus of everything around you throughout the activity. It requires much higher control and attention span. So although different, you can apply both interchangeably depending on your personal preference. Many times, people will use the focused attention meditation beforehand so that they can have that high control and retention span and continue with the open monitoring meditation throughout their entire activity. Here we have described some feelings or signs of meditation depending on the experience that you go through. So it can be different depending on the person as well. You can have moving or swaying, tingling skin. You can be more or less aware of physical sensations. You can feel vulnerable yet also powerful. Some have a calm stillness. You have muscle relaxation, and you can also have a heightened awareness. Again, these are just some of the signs and feelings. There's many more. There are many benefits of meditation, but some that apply directly to sports are the ones as followed. It reduces stress, improves concentration, relaxes your muscles, allows for decreased recuperation time, encourages a healthy lifestyle, increases self-awareness, increases happiness and acceptance, improves confidence, slows down aging, and reduces burnout. These are all important benefits for competitive athletes who are looking for the highest amount of performance that their body is capable of producing. The second topic of our presentation is visualization. Merriam-Webster describes visualization as the formation of mental or visual images, or the act and process of interpreting in visual terms, or of putting into visible form. Another word that's often used with visualization is imagery, which in sports it's called motor imagery, which is what our focus is on. Like meditation, visualization is often used in sports, but it is referred to as motor imagery. Motor imagery is the cognitive ability that allows an individual to perform and experience motor actions in the mind without actually having to execute such actions through the activation of their muscles. You have first and third person forms of motor imagery. First would be imagining that the action occurs through your own eyes. And then the third person is the imagining of the actions, but as an onlooker, watching from far away, such as like a film video where you're able to critique yourself and see yourself from afar. Aside from first and third person visualization, there's also different ways that you can classify visualization in sports. Here we have listed and explained 5. The first, cognitive specific, visualizing yourself consistently controlling a specific skill over and over again for repetition. Cognitive general, visualizing how else can you achieve your goal if your original strategy does not work. Being prepared with second and third options. Motivational specific, imagining yourself winning the actual medal. Motivational general arousal, visualizing the stress and anxiety that is associated with the sport and how you can overcome it. Motivation general mastery, visualizing yourself appearing to be self-confident in front of your opponents. The ideomotor theory is a theory that is based off of visualization in sports and how every action and effect go hand in hand with sport performance. So it's an association between action and effects. It states that the conceptualization of a specific movement is associated with that corresponding effect of movement, and also it can go vice versa. So for example, a player is at home relaxing and trying to prepare for their game tomorrow. They start to visualize the ball falling into the basket after a free throw shot. However, they are also subconsciously thinking about every step leading up to them shooting the ball, even though it wasn't in their direct intention. This can include walking up to the free throw line, receiving the ball from the referee, shaking hands with their teammates, and bouncing the ball before a shot, or etc. So again, this theory shows that even though the player wasn't thinking of all those steps, that was the effect of their action of shooting the ball into the goal. So when looking vice versa, if the player was thinking about how the steps leading up to the shot took place, they would also be thinking about them making the goal at the end. Here we have provided some tips to visualization. You want to be in a quiet area without any distractions so that you can focus all your attention on what you're trying to visualize. You want to visualize the outcome that you want. So you need to remember that it goes the way that you want it to go because you control everything. If your mental image turns negative, you need to stop, take a break, rewind, or start over. It's important that you involve all your senses. So what would you see? What would you hear? What would you smell? And even what would you taste while performing? You want to try and feel exactly how your body would feel while completing every motion. You want to practice frequently. Mental rehearsal is a skill that has to be practiced and perfected in order for it to be successful. If you're having any difficulties with visualization, it's always important to consult with a sports psychologist that can provide you better resources and material on different examples of visualization in order to perfect it. Some benefits of visualization. It benefits the training by transforming motor procedures into automatic movements or responses. It refines motor skills. It protects against overexertion of muscles. It reduces the chance of burnout by decreasing active practice time. It improves memory processing and retention, improves execution of a task, and builds self-confidence and self-awareness. It also allows for positive self-criticism, which is vital in sport performance to avoid anger and frustration. What do sports psychologists have to say? Sports psychologists encourage that athletes use imagery to influence their performance in a variety of ways. This includes enhancing their motivation, their self-confidence, being able to cope with their injury and pain, regulating arousal, and also managing stress and anxiety. It is found that most theories and studies show how imagery affects the completion of learning and executing motor skills. However, there are not enough studies or researchers that are focusing in on how visualization helps with the actual coping and managing of stress and anxiety or injury and pain. So how can these sports psychologists help? When working with a team, every sports psychologist should get to know their players in and out, but also the sport at hand. They should know the components of the task that the athletes have to complete, and also the demands that it's going to put on the athlete themselves. They should also be competent enough in visualization techniques in order to assess which form of imagery would be the most beneficial for the expected outcomes. The common question that arises is, when should you meditate? Some prefer the morning after you've completely awoken, where it's usually quieter, your mind is the most awake, and then it lays a foundation that can complement the rest of your day for a positive. Or in the PM, right before bed, when your brain is the most receptive and there is a higher influence of meditation that can ripple throughout the night. However, the downfall to this is that at night we are sleepy and therefore less alert to anything we are trying to focus in on our meditation. With that being said, practically, whenever you want, anytime that you're able to meditate, you should choose to meditate. We all live busy schedules, and therefore sometimes finding time to stop what we're doing and actually sit there to focus on our meditation can be very hard. In conclusion, meditation and visualization can benefit many athletes when used appropriately and correctly, whether to help calm them down, focus, prepare, or execute an action. Meditation and visualization have a variety of options or approaches that are available to adapt to any need that any athlete might have. We hope you have enjoyed our presentation and now have an idea or understanding of how you can apply these methods to be effective in sports and athletes.